Have you ever wondered why we say we when we talk about our team? And why it feels like grief when our team loses? In sports fandom, we have terms for that. Hi, my name's Ann Osborne. I'm a professor in the communications department at the SI Newhouse School for Public Communications at Syracuse University. And I do research on sports fandom, which we are going to dig into now. So the first question, what is fandom and what makes sport fandom uniquely powerful? Fandom is about finding a community of people who share an interest and then developing and nurturing that interest. And what makes sports fandom uniquely powerful is this sense of vicariously living through your team. It goes beyond just, I support this team. It becomes, the team never would have won if I wasn't there supporting them. In sports fandom, we have terms for that. We call it BIRGing and CORFing. BIRGing is basking in reflected glory. It's not just that our team won, it's we actually won. We use the term we. When our team loses, however, you say, oh, they lost last night. That is CORFing, cutting off reflected failure. How does fandom look different across sports, and what makes soccer's version of fandom so distinct from what we typically experience? We tend to think about American football as the pinnacle of fandom, but soccer is the world's most popular sport. It's also a sport that a lot of people have played, and that's different from something like American football, which is a very gendered sport. All of that builds these really powerful connections. How have the internet and social media transformed fan engagement and culture? It's had a huge impact. It allows us to engage in our fandom with teams and sports that we don't have a local version of. So I can be an English Premier League soccer fan, and I'm all the way here in Central New York. One of the other things, though, that arguably is a downside to how the internet has transformed fandom is through things like fantasy. Now we engage with our sports fandom through our computers and through analytics about the teams. Some would argue that that's eroded some of our traditional fandom of just supporting the club in your hometown, home state, home country. What does it tell us when rival clubs' fans support a national team like at the World Cup? I think it might be a little bit difficult maybe for American sports fans to appreciate the depth of that question. I mean, we certainly have team rivalries. I grew up as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and hated the dreaded Cleveland Browns for a lot of years. But we don't then have a world American football rivalry where those players from different teams would come together and compete. To have fans of rival clubs like Birmingham City and Aston Villa Football Club come together to support their national team is a really significant phenomenon. You know, the Olympics and these world events are some of the few times when you get entire countries that have a lot of difference that for a moment pause and come together. And I think it speaks to the power of sports. What are the real benefits of finding a team or a sport to follow? Having that connection to a team, to a player, makes you feel a part of something that's bigger than yourself. Some people joke that the way that teams sort of change, the players are constantly changing, coaches change, that the only thing you're really cheering for is a jersey. That might be, but it's a really important jersey. And it's a jersey that is imbued with a history and traditions and rituals, and you get to be a part of it. So if you're not a sports fan, I encourage you, find a player that you can sort of attach your emotional commitment to and then watch them thrive. Ride the roller coaster. It can be a lot of fun.